Welcome back to Fish for People, a podcast put on by Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo. I'm Eric. This is Pastor Chris. You don't speak?
I don't speak.
No.
I don't have much to say usually.
No, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a thought or two.
I could remind you every Monday when I'm editing your sermons.
Yeah, right.
Hey, by the way,
what were you doing?
School's back in session.
Yeah.
It's like summer is coming to a wrap. And we know around here that during summer, we want to get out and we want to experience as much as we can with our families and our friends, because we only get about three and a half months of good weather like that. But now when we're coming back into the fall, we're getting back into our routines, because in the summer, it's crazy. We're just everywhere.
And I've heard just that from several different people, even in the last week, of just so ready for the church routine, And it's true. Summer, it's good. We got to rest and recreate and do all that, and it's really good for us. And because winter is coming.
That's right.
And there's wonderful things, but summer's pretty special, and that takes us in different directions. And so summer in the church in this part of the world is a little different, and then it really changes after Labor Day, and we do get back into some routines.
Yeah,
and I hope most people will be getting back into something of a routine, because I just know that it is so important for us to do that, whatever it is. And as I've thought through a lot of these different pieces, the church, what's our purpose? Why do we do this? Why do we continue on these regular gatherings and pieces that we certainly took for granted pre-pandemic?
Right.
We learned to miss them during shutdowns, and now we're still trying to figure out what this world is about, and the church is no different. I think it's true, not just for Olivet, I think for churches across North America at least. We there's a group of people that have come back, so to speak, and in the gatherings in the last couple of years, and probably more committed as ever. This is, your kind of regular group. And I think also a lot of other people, church stuff, faith, spirituality, practices, and all those, it was a challenge to kind of pick it up again. If you weren't in any routines, if it was, like for most of us, was so sporadic and difficult, it was tough to get back into it. And it leaves all of us asking, what's the difference? Why does it matter?
Getting the church or the...
I think the whole thing. Why should I go to worship with other people? Why should I work on these spiritual things in my life? Why should I put any effort into it? And I think people have that question, and of course everyone's going to be a little different on their journey, which is beautiful. That's a wonderful thing, kind of the way God made us, that we're all trying to figure out some different things. I am certain, however, that there's more than just I can do all this on my own, right?
Right.
And that question is pretty age old, as old as humanity. I can just do all this on my own.
Well, and up here too, it's. This is the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
I don't need help. I can do it. I don't have any problems. If I do, I can take care of them.
Right. And that's interesting. If you think as well, if you think of our immigrant ancestors in this part of the world, at least those of us who are descendants of immigrants, there was a couple things. There was that strong work ethic.
Right.
There was that strong, I can do it myself. At the same time, 80, 90, 100, 150 years ago, church was important, and it was because it was the center of the community. And we had to have that connection with other people. I do it on my own, but we had that connection. And for better or worse, and for whatever reason, that's changed in our culture.
Right.
And maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's the Holy Spirit doing something new and saying, maybe automatically having the church as the center of the community, it's easier then to take something for granted. It's easier then not to take it seriously. It's easy then, if it's just there, that I can go about the motions and not have to worry about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way back thousands and thousands of years, God's been reminding us that it's not just about empty words and going through the motions. It's about a lively spirituality with faith and trust and doubt and questions and wonders and struggles and difficulties and triumphs and all of those things together. And so in our incredibly individualistic society, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I can do it on my own, but there's an individualism that can be a real character asset, but it can also be a detriment, because there are certain parts of our life that simply cannot be done completely on our own. Even last Sunday, just a couple of days ago, I likened that to going back to the garden. That's exactly what Adam and Eve were doing. Thanks God, you gave us everything we could really need ever.
Mm-hmm.
But we think we can do better on our own, and it's still part of our problem.
Yeah.
And I have had those conversations forever. People will say, Pastor, I can read the Bible on my own. I can listen to music on my own. I can read different devotions and studies and do all of those things on my own. I don't need anybody else. Really? Okay. So when you wrote the Bible, when you wrote all of those songs, when you wrote all of those devotions, you go, no, somebody else did.
Right.
Somebody else carried this to you, no matter what it is. And by its very nature, Christian faith is impossible in isolation from other human beings. And that's difficult for us to take, I think.
Yeah.
Because I want to do everything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a power in the sense of participation and community. Now, we can find those things in so many other parts of our life, right? We can find community in other places.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We can find entertainment anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We can find activity, participation in all kinds of different things, and it's good. So why do I need the church?
Yeah.
The church has one thing that nothing else in the world can offer, and that's this constant, consistent, yet imperfect, we don't always get it right, but constant and consistent sharing of the love of God in Jesus Christ. In that kind of grace and forgiveness that we regularly gather around and build us up, we don't need the church to go out and serve our neighbor. We don't,
because we have civic groups that can do that.
We can do that,
or things
right.
like that.
We can feed the hungry anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We can provide shelter. We can do all that without any faith organization. Our faith does compel us to be active in such things on behalf of God's children. And then there's a whole other reason for going about those things. So the church has this thing that nobody else can offer. I saved this and I want to read it kind of verbatim because it says this so powerfully. This was an article in the Atlantic and a little over a month ago, something like that. And it was asking the questions, why are so many people not coming back to church following the pandemic? And so here's the first thing that I found really, really interesting. And this was pulling on all kinds of other research studies. People have done academic pieces with this. And here was this really interesting quote and spot on. It says, participation in a religious community generally correlates with better health outcomes and longer life, higher financial generosity, and more stable families, all of which are desperately needed in a nation with rising rates of loneliness, mental illness, and alcohol and drug dependency. So they're looking at research, not just anecdotal stuff, and saying look, being a part of a faith community is good for you all around your life.
Right. Not in just ways that you would just think, okay, I'm going to be active and I'm going to do this with the church and stuff, but it's outside the church, things that how it helps you.
If we're living this out in our everyday, it will affect us in positive ways in our families, in our occupations, in our recreation, all around. Mm-hmm. And it's everything perfect? Of course not. Does it take all the problems away? No way. But it gives you something in the midst of anything that can happen.
Right.
And one more piece here that all of those things, rising rates in loneliness, mental illness, alcohol and drug dependency, guess what and I think we all know it, what's happened with those things in the last 3.5 years? Skyrocket.
Right. Yep. Really gone up.
Just amazing. It's difficult. And I think we're going to be unpacking these issues post-COVID for a long time.
Yeah.
I really do. Mm-hmm. Well, this is a place where it is healthy for us mentally, physically, I think, spiritually, that can help with all of those pieces. Here's the other one. So what's the church about? Well, I love this one. What is more needed in our time than a community marked by sincere love, sharing what they have from each according to their ability and to each according to their need, eating together regularly, generously serving neighbors, and living lives of quiet virtue and prayer. Now, I find that really powerful. Mm-hmm. And those things come straight out of Scripture. The church as a community. Why is it important that we get our kids now back into Sunday and Wednesday school and confirmation and all of the kids' activities? Why is it important that we worship together regularly? All around. When you are surrounded by those things, imperfect people, an imperfect group of people, but we're trying our best.
Yeah.
And when there's love and forgiveness at the center of who we are, coming from the greatest of love and forgiveness, when you're surrounded by that in a regular fashion, it will absolutely have a life-giving effect on every aspect of your being. And I think we often forget that. We're busy. We've got, 17 distractions this Wednesday night, other things going on.
Yep.
But I also believe that that it doesn't mean we should just lower the bar for our own individual expectations or expectations of each other. Just saying, you know what, this is important for me. And I want to raise the expectation for me, because the more that I participate regularly, the greater effect not only does it have on me, but believe it or not, everyone who's listening here, your life and the way you interact with people impacts them. And the church, whatever your faith community is so needed. And I'm not sure our society really realizes it for any of these reasons. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, I'm excited, right? I said on Sunday too, I really believe these things about the church. I said on Sunday as well, that as a church season, summer's not my favorite.
Right.
We're scattered, right? We don't have the regular time together. At least not for me. It's not enough to fill my soul. I got to find ways to do that, other ways to do that as well.
Okay.
And that means some other things with some other people, and it's great. But when we're together here as a community, whether that's Sundays, Wednesdays, any other time when we can be together, there's something that is incredibly life-giving in that. And it's just, I'm so excited that, not that summer's over. I don't want to wish summer away. Like you said, it's, but that we have those regular things again. Because it's good for us all around. And I anticipate that so greatly because I think we see it in each other too. When we get back into it and regular, it's powerful. I just saw it again on Sunday. Someone was unable to be here for many, many, many weeks. And first time back, oh my gosh, she lit up.
Yeah.
Just absolutely lit up to be here at worship. Talk with people that she's not seen in a while. There's power in that, and how it can have that life-giving impact on our being. And I'm just really praying that for everybody. There is opportunity for anyone, every age coming up. And I'm hoping and praying that people will find ways to participate, because it will be a positive thing in their life. And I'm really praying for that.
One of the, and I know you can attest to this, when you work here at the church, during the week, there's groups coming through and doing that, but it is nothing compared to what you see on Sunday morning between services, people walking out, kids running around, people coming in. Wednesday nights the same way. There's just that, and like you said, we need that.
Yeah.
We need to be a part of it. We need to experience it. And so when that happens, it just lifts you up so much.
It does.
Yeah. And then another point I'd like to make, because you brought it up on Sunday, and when you were talking about people from, we all have our own story.
Yes.
We all have our own story when we come to church, and like you said, our story can offer something to somebody else, because it's people coming from all walks of life through these doors in here to worship. And then finally, I would also like to say, when I joined Olivet, we probably about 6 months after started meeting with friends that, or people that we developed really close friendships with.
And that's
23 years.
23 years now.
23. In fact, some of those closest friends are all the godparents of our youngest, Beckett, who's a fifth grader now. But on top of that wasn't enough for me, because I knew a few people, but I didn't know a lot of people. So if you come to church and you feel a little bit isolated, get more involved. And that's hard for us to do.
It is.
It's very hard for a lot of people to do, to go into uncharted waters. But I got involved as a confirmation small group leader. Met so many other people that weren't part of that group of friends, but then they became more friends. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, the more active you become, the more you get out of it. I mean, because it just gives back what you put in.
It absolutely. Things don't just happen. I can't just sit back and watch.
Yeah.
There are times, I would love it if more of we Americans would take time to just sit back and not just watch, but listen and listen for God. I think that would be really good for us. And try it for 30 seconds first time. Just give yourself 30 seconds, clear your mind, and just listen. And I wish we would do more, because that's important. That kind of, and in no way would I ever diss a person's personal devotion life like that. And I really want to build up. And because and it's true, the more we do that, the more we're drawn to each other.
Right.
And then when we're active and involved, we're giving, but it's so mysterious that in giving, you'll be amazed at what you receive.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to be about together.
So that's a challenge. That's a
Yeah.
challenge for you to somehow fit us into your fall routine.
Yeah.
Fit the church.
Yep. Just start. I mean, that's the whole thing. Just start. And we're not asking anyone to be perfect.
Well,
right?
nobody is.
Nobody is. So, just start. Just jump in with something and let it grow. I mean, I think that's what we can all help each other with is jump in, get active in your faith and let it grow. And I don't care where you are on that journey. We all need that. Okay, I got to jump into this and I'm going to let it grow. Whether you've been doing stuff like that for 50, 60, 70 years, whatever, you still need that regularly. And we can help each other with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you'd like to offer today?
I'm just excited that the gatherings are going to become more regular.
Yeah. Check out our website, olivet.org. Also social media, Facebook and Instagram. There's and our did I say our website? Yeah, I did.
Website. Yep.
There's just so many things coming up this fall. There's activity for youth, obviously, and young adults, and intergenerational things. We've got God's Work Our Hands coming up, Bible studies. Yeah. It's a really exciting time.
There really is something for anyone, and at different times, different days. Should be ways for just about everyone. If you want to plug in, there's an opportunity for you.
Well, and this isn't a surprise, but Marlis is even moving choir from Wednesday to Thursday to give more people an opportunity. Yeah. So, we're not perfect either, but we're trying our best to make everything available to anybody who wants to participate.
That's right. So, and I'm just so excited to I'm more of an extrovert than I am an introvert. That shocker, but I really am, because to see and experience and really feel the buzz, which is the movement of the Holy Spirit here. I'm very excited for that.
So we hope to see you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
We appreciate it. If you liked this podcast, please like and subscribe it, and let your friends know about it. And have a wonderful day.
Wonderful. Peace.